That's less the college one. Let's do one. I'm probably ever let's do just the one that had a long shotgun, like had a long dress, and like she was the unspeakable
We're
shotgun.
gonna always
Yeah.
do a 1, 2, 3 tester to make sure everybody can hear both of us on their end. Hi, Sugar and Comfort. If you can hear me, drop me a one.
And then these small ones that did this one that did the kitchen and
Make
yeah,
sure you
all
guys
that
hear us good.
there. But
We was having a lot of echoing and breaking up and everything. Hey, Miss Anointed, if y'all can hear us, drop me a one. And if you can, Danny, say something so they can make sure that you sound clear.
Good afternoon or lunchtime, morning, wherever you are. Hopefully, y'all can hear me too.
Okay, if y'all can hear her, drop me a one.
Michigan,
Make sure y'all can hear the both of us.
I think it's down towards
Good and clear. Good afternoon, Sierra. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Cole Pepsi. Danny, can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see the comments. I see a lot
Okay,
of them.
cool. They said we get some
Someone said
echoing.
it's echoing.
they don't have it. The
Am I
wedding
echoing or is she echoing?
Carrie had like some chair lined up here. Yeah. I can't get
Lucy, which one of us is echoing?
now. I didn't have to. I didn't, but I didn't do it.
Danny, you got some stuff going on in the background? Think they can hear your
Yeah,
back.
I can't do nothing about the background.
Can you turn your television down?
I'm not at home, so
Oh.
yeah, because I was out doing
Okay,
errands.
other than the background noise, do we sound pretty clear?
Yeah.
Blessings on blessings, everybody. What about me? Do I sound pretty clear? Because at first I was the one that was echoing and breaking up real bad. With how we sounding? Clear on your end, Pepsi? Hey, Alana. ATL in the house. ATL, DTE, Texas, Louisiana. Okay, so y'all saw. Okay, you think it's me? Oh, hey, Amelia, Amelia. Okay, well, as we go through everything, then just let me know. I don't see John Q. As we go through, just let me know, you guys, if it get worse, because we're gonna go ahead and start. We wanted to start at 12 o'clock, but it took us some time to kind of get this thing going, and I was echoing real bad. So drop me a two if you guys, if they you both sound clear. Okay, good, good. All right. So like I said, if it get worse or you guys can't really hear us, then drop me a two. But I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the lady that I have on the channel with me today. Um, she goes by the name of Danny Divine.
Yes.
Okay, if you guys are not familiar with the Kamille CupCake McKinney case, she is the cousin of the lady of the woman who was charged just yesterday for her murder. Okay, so if you guys know, she goes by the name of Danny. I mean, I'm sorry, not Danny. She goes by the name of Derek Brown. This is Derek Brown's cousin, and we're gonna clear up the name. We're gonna clear up a lot of information.
Yes, we are,
I know
because
it's
I
been
am
a lot
not Derek
of
Brown's
stuff
cousin.
about the name. I even came to her like, okay, now who in the heck is Derek? Who would change their name to Derek? So we're gonna clear up a lot of stuff. I've been having a conversation with Danny behind the scenes about the case. Me and Danny been talking since like early yesterday morning, and so at the last minute, I said, let me go ahead and do this live because I wanted her to feel welcome for one. So if you all can just welcome her, okay? She have nothing to do with why her cousin was charged for the death of CupCake. Let me just put that out there. Okay, we have no we are related.
Hopefully everybody can hear me too. Um, are you still there, Malika?
Are you still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I can hear you now.
It's hard to hear who, me or her, Amelia.
Hold on.
Somebody saying there's a lot of background noise, so let me
I'm gonna
try to
try
go
to go
outside.
outside.
It
Yeah, me
could be
too.
me outside too long.
One second.
I'm gonna go ahead and go outside.
I am too.
Yeah, I got my AC on, so it could be me. No, it ain't. But it's cool. I don't really need to see. Is that better, y'all? On my end? Let me know how we sounding.
Oh,
Sound like a radio interception.
okay, hold
Wow.
on. Is that better? Now I can't do nothing
Help us
about
with
the
the sound
wind,
before we
y'all.
sing, y'all.
Hopefully
It's
this is
saying you
better.
noise in the background. Hmm. I'm gonna take myself off, Danny.
Okay.
Okay, yes, much better. Okay, good. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
going to like a soundproof room in my house. This is gonna be my new YouTube studio. Thank the Lord for this new house I got. I got a soundproof room with a YouTube studio in the baby, y'all. Okay. I think
So
that
you
was
want me to go ahead and get started? Or
that
you?
I was hearing. Okay. So, am I echoing? Do I sound good? Oh, okay, good. Okay. So, as I
Okay.
was saying, this right here, she goes by the name of Danny Divine. She is the cousin of the woman that was convicted yesterday for Camille CupCake's murder. Okay, her along with Patrick um, Stallworth. If you guys are familiar with the case, if you can, Danny, show him a picture because
Okay.
I couldn't figure out how to screenshot picture of your cousin.
Oh, the phone. What the-
Couldn't figure out how
So
to screenshot while both of us was doing, so she's gonna give you guys a photo of the two suspects for those who are not familiar with this case. Okay, so this is her cousin right here. So Danny and I have been discussing the case since yesterday morning. And, I basically approached her and I wanted to know more about the woman that we all know as Derek. Okay, so we had a long conversation and she's a really cool girl, you guys. Like I said before, you cannot help who your family is, okay? We don't get to pick and choose who we're related to. So I want you guys
I
to
felt
just
it.
show her some respect, and just get to hear her. And what she's gonna do is just kind of enlighten us on who is Derek, okay? Because I know a lot of us want to know, like, who is this person, and why would she? And I'm pretty sure she don't even have the answer to this question, but this is the question that we all want to know: who is this person that can commit such a heinous crime like murdering an infant, murdering a child? Like, who can do something like this? Okay, so she's gonna just give us as much as she can give us. Okay, she can't answer that question, why would she do it, but she can
I
give
don't
us
know that answer.
insight on who is Derek. Who is Derek
Uh,
Brown? The person that the media is calling Derek Brown.
uh,
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna step away for a second, let you go ahead and speak. And kind of just give everybody a background on who is there. Let me just say this to you guys. She did not ask to come on here. She is not clout chasing. I am not clout chasing. You guys know we look into cases, we look into stuff deep. I like to know everything I can about the people that I'm looking into. I mean, I don't care. I want to know what church they went to. I want to know who brought them up. I want to know if they was in any type of club. Get everything I can know about them. Okay, so the discussion that we had behind the scenes, I felt privileged to be able to have Danny to come on to share with the world what we were discussing behind the scenes. So thank you, Danny, for deciding to come and join us today. All right, this is in the moment, and this was definitely something that she did not ask for. Okay, but she agreed to do. So she's going to, speak to you guys about her a little bit about her cousin and share with us about who her cousin Derek Brown is, or who we all know as Derek Brown. So I'm gonna step away and I'm gonna give you the mic for a second, okay? So you can kind of fill the world in.
All right. My name is Danny. I am a 29-year-old single mother of triplets. I have three 6-year-old daughters. I was born in Birmingham, but I was not raised there. And as I get older, I understand why my mother did not raise me in Birmingham. I am there all the time, though. I currently reside in Florida. Uh, the person that you know as Derek Brown, I don't know that person. Uh, I have, well, Derek Brown, her real name is Quintessa Yvonne Jackson. She is my second cousin. Her her mom and my mom are cousins as well. My mom's the only child, so I really didn't have any aunties. I just had my great aunties. She was born in, and lived in Inslee. If you are familiar with the Birmingham area, Inslee is uh, what you would consider the hood. Uh, we had in Inslee, my great grandma lived there. My great grandma had 10 kids, two sets of twins, so we already knew that all of us was going to be doomed with multiples at some point in our life. But me and Derek, her name is Quintessa. That is her name. Me and Quintessa, aka Derek, there has been times where we all stayed at my great grandma's house, and I always knew she was a little off, but I didn't know why. I was too young to understand. Her mother was a crackhead, is a crackhead to this day. Uh, Once around, I believe, 8 or 9, DHR took all of her kids and placed Derek and her brother and no, two of her brothers and her sister all into DHR custody. She was in DHR group home until she was about 18, and then they let her go. She got pregnant. Uh, my cousin has been mentally ill since birth, and I have mental illness runs deep in my family. Even I am someone who has who deals with mental illness now. But the difference between me and some of my family members is that I decided to get help for myself because if my children don't have me, who else would they have to rely on? So I had to basically save myself in order to be there for my children, if that makes sense. If you're a mother, you understand. Uh, I've had I've had run-ins with Derek, this person you know as Derek, and I knew she changed her name. But the reason behind changing her name, a lot of people be like, "Oh, she's trying to hide from the police, or she's trying to do this, that." No, the reason that my cousin changed her name was because she wanted to make sure that she had her kids. I understand that this is such a heinous crime, but a lot of people probably won't believe that she took care of her kids when I the last time I was around her, her house was spotless. Her children had whatever they needed. They had more than what they needed. Uh, she had 6 kids. One one baby daddy, believe it or not. You don't really see that often these days, but she had 6 kids with one man who was toxic, and I never liked him. But her first pregnancy, she was pregnant with twins, 2 girls, and she gave birth to them, and she had them up until about 3 months. And DHR took her children not because of her, but because of her fiance, because of the children's dad. So yeah, if you have not seen her, if you have not caught up with the case, a old letter was posted yesterday. An old letter that she wrote back in 2010, asking the judge, "I understand that what I did was wrong, and she stole somebody's credit card and she used it. She used it to buy diapers and wipes and stuff for her kid, her twins at the time." She wrote and said, "I understand that what I did was wrong and it was the worst decision I've ever did. But all I want to do is be with my kids." So fast forward to about 2016, she she was living by herself. She was doing pretty good. Uh, she had four more kids at this point because the twins did get adopted out. So she had a little boy, and then she had another set of twins, Heaven and Heavenly. They are the same age as my triplets. And then she had another little girl after that. So she had three. She had twins and she had the little girl. The little boy ended up staying at her auntie's house. So around this time, my cousin didn't really do drugs. She didn't go out. She smoked a lot of cigarettes, but that's about it. She never went out. She stayed at home, or she went to go buy her kids something, and she came back home. A family member tried to call. A family member called and said that she punished her kids by putting them in the washing machine, which does not make any sense to me. Uh, but they took her kids. And from that point, it just kind of went like a down spiral. I stopped talking to her in 2016 because she did do something very. Uh, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you what she did. I lived also in Birmingham in 2016. Me and her got into it because I was at a mature stage in my life and I did not want to deal with family drama. And she caused family drama. And the type of person that I am, I feel that when you cross somebody or if you do something that's just so disrespectful, I don't feel like you are grateful or you should be around me because at this point I felt that you were a hazard to my life and my surroundings. But at the time, I was going through a lot of depression and I had a house. I had a house full of stuff. I had everything. I had my girls were 3 years old at the time, so they had their toddler beds, of course. My mom tried to help her, even though I was done with her. My mom tried to help her. She would go over there, help her wrap Christmas gifts. And at that point, my depression got so bad that I just like I had to go. And when you are going through depression, you really don't be concerned about materialistic things. Yes, I do apologize. The wind blowing. My stuff was in that house, and my mom went back to check because she wanted to make sure that we, can move everything out. And she realized that my washer and dryer was gone. And I was like, Mama, the washer, who would come and literally take a whole washer and dryer? I was just so confused. And so, I'm thinking that it was another person. I didn't, the first thing I'm not thinking is a family member. But um, about 3 weeks later, I had a cousin call me and was like, Danny, do you have a queen size bed with the diamonds at the top? And I'm like, yeah, how do you know that? My cousin, when I say she took everything out of my house, she took everything from the beds to the washer and dryer to the TV to my girls' toddler beds to down to my makeup because I'm a makeup artist and she decided to take everything. Moved it in a U-Haul like it was hers. Of course, I was upset. Of course, at that point I just wanted to beat her up. That's pretty common. I tried to call the police. Police wouldn't do anything about it. So at that point, I just let it go. Now, up until when I seen that they got arrested the first time, and I saw that CupCake was missing, I automatically knew like I know my cousin had something to do with taking that baby. I haven't talked to her since 2007. She tried to inbox me last year, and I ended up blocking her on all social media because I'm not the type of person. So as far as her being with this person named Patrick, I don't know this man. Uh, I don't know where he came from. He had I had found out that he was working pretty hard. He worked at U.S. Steel. He was making good money, and this is also around the time when she kidnapped her own children as well. I don't know who brought who down, because if I look at it, I see two toxic people that should have never dated. She kidnapped her own children. She got in a car wreck. I was confused to why. How would you give somebody that put children at danger a bond? And that I have a problem with Birmingham for that. Uh, she got out. She had the kids again, which I was confused by. They were giving them to her, taking them away, giving them to her, taking away. And if I tell you that a girl that was raised in a group home, she didn't really have family come see her. She didn't know that her great grandma died while she was in prison for stealing that credit card. She lost her babies. She lost her great grandma, and now she has lost the last four of her kids. And as somebody that deals with mental issues, my defense mechanism is if somebody take my children away from me, I lose my damn mind. So a lot of people are like, oh, she must have been on drugs. She must have. It, Drugs is really the excuse people are trying to use when it's not that. She didn't start doing drugs until recently, until she got with Patrick. I don't know who started doing drugs first or what, but she hasn't started doing drugs until this past year. Uh, you would think somebody of her age would be on some heavy drugs years ago, but she wasn't. She was very sober until they took out her kids. The
I
she
just
was she
asked
said,
you what kind of drugs was she on?
what kind of drugs? I heard that they were on heroin. I do apologize if there are any non-black people in here, but black people don't do heroin. Black people don't do meth. We are known for doing crack, but I found out that she had been doing heroin. And if you are a heroin addict, you or know anybody that's a heroin addict, you know that they will do whatever it takes to survive. They will take money, they will steal money, and apparently you will take a kid. And I'm just gonna be honest. You, I really think that there's more to this story. I really do. There's a 3-year-old baby on a basketball court in the middle of the project at 8:30 p.m. I understand there's a birthday party going on. I understand, but my children are in bed by 8 o'clock. They're 6 years old. Miss Anointed, you cannot blame this on heavy drugs. You cannot. Does it contribute? Yes, but the background and the mental stability of someone at this point. Why, if I don't care, if y'all take my kids, I don't have nothing to live for. So why care about anybody else's child? You have to this is the mentality of a person that I grew up around. Like, she really just wanted to be loved, and everybody's like, well, they knew what kind of sick man she was with. My cousin really is slow. Like, she's smart, but she's slow. You see, her name is Derek, and it was actually supposed to be Derica. It was supposed to be an A on the end. And I asked her, why this name? Like, why? But Derica was what it was actually supposed to be. So, yeah, a lot of people are on that these days. That's in my area. But what this is the person that's been molested. This is the person that's been raped. This is the person that's been left alone to fend for herself, not only in a group home but afterwards. She actually made a point to stay away from her mama once she had kids, and I do applaud that for her. But when it comes to this situation, I can't answer for y'all why she would do this. Why would she participate in this? Like I said, my post went viral by mistake. A lot of people don't see the comments that really made it get attention because my cousins have deleted it. I said you are guilty by association. I don't care if she drove the getaway car. I don't care if she had been taking care of the baby while she was in their possession. You have something that does not belong to you yet again. And I do not feel sorry for her. This ain't about no clout because if anything, I should feel embarrassed by a person that would do such a disgusting thing to a baby. And that's what I got upset about. This ain't about no grown ass people. This ain't about a mama that didn't take responsibility for where her child should have been, about a nasty, disgusting man who had child pornography, and then for you to give him a bond and let him out. I think that has something parts to it, and it's just I was emotional. I was upset. I'm a mama. I'm a mama to three girls at that, and someone that I was molested when I was younger. I am a example of PTSD, which did not hit me till about 25 years old. Depression, anxiety, uh, PTSD, all of that. It don't have to hit you when the situation happens. It can hit you when you're 25. It can hit you when you're 45, when you're 60. It can hit you when you're 60 years old. But the thing is that in Black communities, we don't call it mental illness. We call it either you're doing something for attention or you just crazy. We allow the same people that abuse our children to still come to barbecues, to special events. Do you know what it's like to be around your predator for years? For having family members that don't believe that you got molested or you got raped? Like, do you know how a person has to live with that?
Let me
And
ask you a question too. Was it any signs of abuse on her children? Like, did
no,
any of the family no?
no. When I tell you she took care of her kids, she wouldn't even raise her voice at them babies.
Wow.
Because when if you talk to her, if you heard her talk, she sounds like very soft spoken, like a mouse. That's how I compare it to, like it's a mouse. She didn't never raise her voice at them. She babied them. Even as they got older, she still babied them, which is why the second set of twins were they were 4 years old and still in diapers because she wanted to continue to baby them. She would not bring them around her mama. Her mama to this day is still on drugs. Her mama went to her first appearance. Like, I would have been like, can y'all get her out of here? Because all of this is her fault.
Do you think
I
she's gonna have any family members that her side while she's going through the trial, if this goes to trial?
she might have she might have her auntie, my cousin, who are also I don't talk to them. When I tell you I chose my peace of mind and I chose my children's happiness over my blood, I meant that. So her auntie might come. Her mama might show up. I don't know why. My mama say she want to go, but she just really want to go so her and Quintessa can make that eye contact. Because if that girl look at my mama, she gonna break down. Because my mama told her, you need to take care of you. You need to take care of these babies. And for her to come and rob the people that was trying to help her, I have every right not to deal with her.
It was said, I don't know if it's true or not. I actually got this from the news media, but it was said that she actually held a relative at gunpoint and kidnapped her own kids.
Yeah, it's not my side because my side ain't finna let her do that. She ain't finna
Okay,
do that to my side. I know
okay.
I have a thought of who it was, because her son was staying at an auntie's house, and this auntie took care of the little boy. She got his check, whatever, all of that. So eh, she had the second set of twins, and she had the little girl with her. Little boy was over there, so that's why I'm feeling that's where they had ended up going. But she dare not pull up a gun at none of our side because she knows she would have got punched in her mouth.
So where's her children at now? They're all pretty much like scattered out, or are they in the system?
I heard that they were in the system. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. At one point, This is right after she stole my stuff and they took the kids. One of my cousins called me and was like, "Do you want heaven and heavenly?" And I said, "What? What? Do you want the twins? Because they need a good home, and I can't do this. I can't continue to take care of them." And I'm just like, y'all want me? And the thing is, I love all my little cousins to death. My problem is with their mamas. Becoming a product of your environment is not cute, and a lot of them have become a product of their environment. I'm called bougie because my mama decided to move us to California and show us a different side of life rather than the hood. Yeah, I can relate to both sides. I can relate to the hood. I can relate to you know the political side and all that kind of stuff. I can relate to both sides. But at the end of the day, I don't. I can't take no kids and take it when I already got three. If you understand what I'm saying. Yes, they were the same age as the girls. And yes, I would have loved them and I would have taken care of them. But at that time, mentally, I wasn't together. So I couldn't take care of them. So now they probably are in the system, which pisses me off of my family because the post that I posted, I said you are guilty by association. I also said that I was embarrassed. I have every right to feel embarrassed by my relatives. But my cousins came at me really, really hard for me speaking up, for me saying something. And I told them this whole time, the kids are in the system. So if you really, really care, you would have made sure them babies had a home, whether their mama was attached to it or not. But yet nobody has moved. Yet another set of children are in the system because their mother decided to make bad decisions. And I made that post because I want to know, where does it stop? It's gonna stop over here, but I just want to know, where does it stop? That's what all I'm confused about.
Now she might not ever get a chance to see her children. I
Never.
mean,
Oh no. She changed her name so she could keep her kids because if she had a baby under the name Quintessa Jackson, anytime she puts the child out, they were supposed to take that kid from her.
it was
Yeah.
interesting when you was telling me how she used to squat. If
She
you
used to,
can,
oh,
if you can
I
speak on that a little
thought it
bit.
was weird and
Oh
I didn't
wow.
believe it. I really thought it was weird and I did not believe it, but apparently my cousin has this habit of squatting into abandoned houses. And the thing is, the houses aren't um, completely abandoned. Somebody used to live there, it's just empty. But she literally will move in stuff into these houses and live there. It's weird. I never could wrap my head around it. But the last place that I went into was a townhouse, and I knew for a fact that she was leasing then. But before that, I know y'all probably seen pictures and stuff, and her I know you said you looked at her Instagram account and it was like her redoing her room. That's the last house that she had to herself.
Yeah, and I also told you, I told you that I've seen all these checks she was getting because if anybody know me, I always dig deep. I look into everything, and so I was noticing that she had a lot of different checks.
Yeah.
But I was noticing that there was no cents. It was always dollars and 00 cents.
Mm.
And I was
Um,
discussing it with one of my girls, and I said a lot of times when you go into money laundering or when you print out fake checks, you don't see the cents, you just see the dollars. And I also noticed that a lot of these checks was coming from different bank accounts. And if
yeah.
anybody know me, I always follow the money
Any
trail.
any normal person would look at that and be like, there is something off on that. But if you remember from the article that I sent you today, she was arrested for theft. She stole somebody's credit card and she was doing that. But I mean, I also heard she had a habit of making bad checks. And that's another reason why she was put into the, the penitentiary. So when you sent me that picture, I'm like, what job she had? She never had no job.
So
So
these
I don't.
companies that these checks was in, and these were some real legitimate companies because I didn't tell you this, Danny, but we actually looked these companies up. These
Yeah,
were
I
some
couldn't
real
tell you where
legitimate
she got it from.
companies, and she was never employed. by these companies. She was just printing out fake checks using the name of these companies.
Uh, I um, I don't know where she got it from. I have like if anybody's been in Birmingham, you know there's a lot of scamming and fraudulent things that's happening in the city, and they have a habit of knowing how to make fake checks. If that was the case, we need to take they behind the school. But I don't know where she got them checks from. And at first, I had to go, I had to zoom in and look at the name on it because I thought at first that they were Patrick's checks. Because then I would believe that because he was working at U.S. Steel and you make buku money at U.S. Steel. But um, yes, Robin, she didn't. She hasn't started doing drugs until this past year, believe it or not. And as far as CupCake's funeral, I'm not sure. I hope they're doing a deep autopsy on her first because
They actually did announce some funeral arrangements. I want to say this morning I seen a
yeah,
flyer with the funeral arrangements. I wanted to do some screen sharing so I can show you guys some pictures, but I'm not sure of how to do it with both of us on. But maybe I'll matter of fact, I'll post it on my channel. I'll post a picture of the announcement on my channel so you guys can see all the details about the funeral arrangement.
I I have a lot of questions. Um, from from what party, what time the party, who was supposed to take the baby home, why was she on the basketball court by herself? What like mom? Where's her mama? That's my question.
And then, you know
Where?
what? When I was looking into a lot of the news reports too, um, I was seeing that she was taken from a birthday party. I kept saying birthday party, and that's not necessarily true. At that time, the party would have been over, right? Because
Exactly.
we
Well,
actually see on camera
if
taken
you've
off
been
of a
to a party,
basketball court.
this is where adults mess up at. If it's a child party should end at a decent time. They like to overextend the party and do stuff the rest of the night. But at that time, me knowing that I am a parent, especially of a toddler, I know that for a fact by 8 o'clock my baby should be in bed. My baby's 6 years old and they already know 8 o'clock is bedtime. But where is the mama? Where was the mama? The daddy don't live in them projects, but where's the mama? That's why I want to know where was the mama.
I think
Oh,
that's
well,
the question that everybody
that
has.
doesn't take anything from them taking the baby. I understand that, but all of this could have been prevented because your child should have been where she was supposed to be at 8 o'clock at night.
Exactly, Miss Anointed. It was a child party turning into an adult affair, but
Exactly.
most of the
That's
times
how
when
they
we
are.
yeah, most of the times when a child parties turn into adult parties, the children are usually in their own separate corner, in their own separate room, or in the
Yeah,
basement, or
in
somewhere
the
else
room
while
when
the
you know
adults are partying.
when it gets dark to make all the kids come inside.
Right.
Right. But why are these babies on a basketball court in the middle of the projects at 8 o'clock at night? When
Another
you
question
already
I had.
know,
Okay, let
when
me
you
just put
are,
this out there. I don't expect for you to answer everything because you guys, she don't know everything. She
I
could be
don't know
foolish.
everything.
She don't know everything. And this is not really, we are not going to make this about the mom, the dad, because we don't really know too much about them. Okay, we're just going to have a simple discussion. It's not bashing nobody. It's just simple
No.
discussion. I don't even want to bash the suspects. All we want to do is just have a simple discussion, gather all the information because y'all know how we do. We look into everything and we look into stuff deeply. Okay, so we just have a simple discussion. But one thing that if anybody can fill me in on, when CupCake was at the party, she was there with her 11-year-old brother. But yet when we see her on the basketball court
That
at
is a
8:30
small
at night
kid.
after the party, where was the 11-year-old brother?
Exactly.
Where was the 11-year-old brother? Because when I first saw that surveillance, at first I'm thinking like, okay, she's outside playing with her brother, and I was like, no, her brother should be way, bigger and taller. He's 11 years
Mhm.
old. So where, y'all, this thing is such a mystery to me. Okay, that's why me myself personally, I'm not gonna get off into all that today. I had Danny here today to kind of give us the insight about her cousin, bring some awareness to mental illness, so we can have it, and we were gonna have a discussion about the case. But for me, it's so suspicious because I'm like, first of all, the boy that she was with earlier that day, actually at the party with, He's nowhere to be found. Okay, which means yeah, he could have went home, went inside, and she came back out. But it also makes me think was it a parent at home at all? Was it any adult at the house at all? Because once the boy came in, he should have came in with him, and they should have made sure both children were inside the home.
They said she was at that the mama was at work.
When we actually see a surveillance, the 11-year-old is nowhere around, and now it's Cupcake, another small child. Did you guys? I don't know if you guys heard me. So the mom dropped Cupcake and her brother off to the mom's cousin house, which was the cousin that was responsible for watching them. And I do hear about a cousin that was responsible for watching them, and um it really raised my antenna because we haven't heard too much about this cousin, and we've
Yeah.
heard even a neighbor posting. A neighbor even said, "Well, wait a minute, I didn't even know these kids, and I still allowed them to come to the party play." But we haven't heard a cousin to really come to her defense and say, yes, with
I was supposed to be watching it.
if that's what it was, if it was really innocent and it was just something that just happened, we understand that. She snuck out the house. I thought she was in the house, but we haven't heard anything
Nothing.
from this cousin.
It's so many things that's just not lining up. I, um, when it comes to, I see that they said that the mama was at work, and how I'm set up is that I have to find a job that's going to be equivalent to my children's schedule. I know it's hard, but I know that these are the times my kids are going to be in school, and I know for a fact that nobody's going to watch them that I trust. So I just feel like personally, I can't
What
work
if
that
she
job.
did have a cousin who she trusted, and the cousin could not be showing herself or speaking out because of her guilt? Like, wow, I was actually the one that was supposed to be responsible for these babies, and I
Say
dropped
that,
the
then. Say that. If you were the cousin that was responsible for them and you decided to be negligent, hold them responsible.
Yeah, it's just a
But
messy situation
as
altogether. But
as far as it comes, as far as it comes to my cousin, I said she is guilty by association. I don't care if she didn't do something to the baby. It's the fact that you knew about it. It's the fact that you drove the car. It's the fact that you let this. It hurts my soul being someone that has been sexually abused when I was younger. The fact that you are and you have been sexually abused, and the fact that you could be around a nasty person like this, and it hurts my heart because I don't. I'm so scared of what the results are going to be, saying what that man did to that baby, and that's where I'm stuck at. I'm stuck on that part. Like what you did to the baby, and then y'all threw her in a dumpster
okay, so
and
let's
burned her
break this
clothes.
out too. So that green truck that they found, that was actually your cousin's
It's my
truck.
cousin's truck.
Oh, see, I thought that was Patrick's truck.
No, well, it's both of them. They together. They was always together. I heard they was always together.
How long had they been dating?
Um, I don't. I think maybe over a year.
Yeah, because you
She
said in
she never.
2016
Yeah,
they
she
were.
never been the type of person that will bounce from like dude to dude. She's never. I don't know how, but she's not. She stayed with her baby daddy for so long, and then it just got to a point to where they couldn't even try to make it work. And then she met this guy, and she's been with him. I don't know since 2017, 2018. I'm not sure because I haven't talked to her since 16
Would you
because I
say that
can't.
she's the type of woman that's like easily manipulated by a man?
Um, she's naive.
Yeah.
I've been around her and her baby daddy, and if he would say that he wanted to like some drugs or something, and she like looking at him like you need to stop. But if he told her to do something, she'll do it. But as I don't know.
And then just to add too, I know that we said, well, you made it clear that she suffered from mental illness and she was a child.
Yeah,
But
extremely
also,
bad.
heroin is of the devil. And all drugs is of the devil. But when you're talking about some hard drugs like heroin and
Yeah,
crack
that's what
cocaine,
I said. You add heroin, you add a hardcore drug on top of a mental illness. You don't know, you don't care, you really don't care what you do at that point, as long as you can get your high. If you I learned this while I've been in a psych ward twice, and I learned this when you're depressed and you have anxiety, your body is yearning to release endorphins. This is science. Your body is really desperate to release endorphins. So you try to find anything to release them. Some of us might drink, some of us might, smoke a little weed, do some drugs. Also, you will notice that when you are depressed, your sexual activity, you are craving to have sex more and more and more. Why? Because your body is trying to release them endorphins. Now, when you take, it's the equivalency of being on heroin. When you take heroin, it releases too much endorphins. So after a while, if you do heroin for a while, your body is required to take it again because your body needs to release them endorphins. So imagine heroin on top of a mental illness. The amount of endorphins that your body are trying to release, you will do anything and everything in your body to have that temporary feel of relief. Which is why I'm like, why I choose heroin out of all drugs, because it is the one of the hardest drugs to come sober off of as well. So,
So Danny, John has a question for you. As far as you know, was your cousin upset about anything beforehand outside of what happened afterwards? That you may know of?
you mean after she kidnapped her kids or what?
Outside of what happened? Like,
No,
was she suffering from some kind of depression? Was she upset about anything? From what I've seen, when we was like kind of digging into her, as well, John, because we was digging into her, some social media pages and just things like that. And not just Facebook, but she also have yeah, Instagram, Twitter, all these
yeah,
different social media pages. She seemed like she was actually enjoying her life. Like one of those people that say living my best life.
yeah.
She was
I
getting
blocked her on
money. She
her
was in a
Instagram
new
because she inboxed me on
relationship.
there.
And Danny just confirmed that Patrick was working. Patrick was working a good job. They were
It
both.
was,
They were both. And I guess she was. I guess I would say for me myself, I don't know, but for what I would say, her sadness or her depression would probably come from not having all her children.
yeah, that's where it came from. I'm
She
just
had
gonna be
her
honest.
house. Because Danny said for the longest she was squatting. Okay, which means she was just, taking residence in abandoned houses. So at one point in her life, prior to all of this happening, she, she get a new house, she furnished it out, she printing out checks, so she's getting some money. She got a new boyfriend, he's working, he's getting some money, he's making money. So at one point she was actually content, other than the fact that
She
she didn't
was.
have all her children under one roof. You see what I'm saying? But as Danny pointed out, one of them became the downfall, but of the other one, but we don't know which one it was, and they both started using heroin, which added to the mental illness, which added to the depression, or whatever else she was dealing with. So I think, like I said, the heroin is of the devil. Okay, because it takes somebody satanic. That's why she said this person that actually did this. This is my cousin, yes, but the person, Derek, that you all know that actually did this, I don't know that person.
No,
This is somebody else. This is somebody different. Because they have to take an evil spirited person. They have to take Satan, the devil, in somebody to do something like this.
and it's crazy because I just had to like scroll on my Instagram, my messages. Remember when I told you? Okay, so I had blocked her off of Facebook just because I just wanted to be done with it.
Excuse me, hold on, Danny.
Okay.
John Q, do you got a ranch? Y'all can just get him out of here. Y'all can get him out of here. Nobody have no answers right now. We having a discussion. If you're not grown enough to have a discussion, y'all can get him out of here.
I had I was just like I had to look it because I know she wrote me on Instagram, and it was come to find out last year around November, and I'll send them to you later. But I did inbox her. I'm like, why are you trying to like contact me? I said, you are all trying to get on all my pages. And I told her, I said, I don't F with you, especially after what you did. And she said, I only wanted to be friends on Facebook because we family. You always been my Instagram friend. And as far as some of your friends friend me because I was your friend. I'm not a hater. I'm proud of you. If anything, we have a lot in common.
And that's
And
the
so
point. See, she cut her off. She saw signs of the fact that she was a sick individual and cut her off. And we have acknowledged that. We understand that. But like I said, for me, I still wanted to know who is this person that we all, because first of all, half of the world didn't even have her name right. We was all calling her Derek Brown.
please. They trying to say that Quintessa is her alias name. No, that is her birth name. My mama is one of the people that brought her home from the hospital. So like, I mean, I tried to give my cousin a chance. I truly did, sincerely from my heart. Even though everybody was like, "You don't need to be around her. She crazy. She this, she that." And I'm like, "Oh, what a coincidence! Y'all call me crazy too. So this is gonna work out." I was like, "We can work through this together. We can have our kids together. We can, you know, just bond with each other." But when you allow somebody to show them your true colors, then you accept that, and that's what she did. And I'm just the type of person that just don't forgive when you do such a horrible thing to somebody that's your blood.
Also, you can definitely tell when it comes to her and her relationship with, like you said, men. And she's not the type of person that bounced around, but when she with one person,
She
she
sticks, like
she
what they say
sort
is
of, she
right.
probably have this undeniable loyalty to whoever
She
she's
does.
with. Now, can't no man in Sam Hill make me do what she did
Hell
or
no.
manipulate me into
Nope.
being the person that I'm not. But see, what we have to understand, you guys, and the purpose of this lab is we're dealing with somebody who was sick, who's always been sick, not making an excuse. Okay, let me just get that out there. But if you once you define the individual and you understand the character of the individual, now you can say, okay, now I can actually believe it more because for me it was like, wow, this is just unbelievable. I cannot imagine that a woman, and let me tell you guys too the information that I got, okay, real quick, because I have a friend who's in Alabama. So I messaged my friend and I asked her about the case. Okay, so last night she got back with me and she told me, she has a friend who's a police officer in Birmingham, and this is the information that she received. And I don't know if you all know all this or heard all of this, but from my understanding, this is what's going around. This is what supposedly had happened. Okay, and I even discussed this with Daddy. From my understanding, Patrick raped CupCake multiple times. It was Derica who drowned her and threw her in a dumpster. Okay, so like I said, this is what's being said. And I know Ricky Smiley also wrote a post and he said some things too. He said exactly what my friend told me. And everybody was saying, well, wait a minute, how would he know? Well, maybe he have connections to the police force. And this was just information that wasn't put out there. So don't quote me on it again. This was something that was brought to me when asked about this case from somebody who's there, and I know that my friend is pretty much well connected. She's a great noble woman in her community, and I just felt like she probably would have heard something. And so that was what was brought to me, which now I can understand why both of them was charged with murder. Because at first, when me and Danny was talking, I didn't have all of that. I still don't know if that's to be sexual or not, but we was looking at it more like he might have did something and she was just there. That's why she kept saying guilty by association. But like I came to Danny and I said, Danny, I think it's much deeper than that. I said, and Danny didn't even know at one point that her cousin had been charged for murder. She was out trick or treating or trunk or treating with her children, and
Yeah.
I stepped in her inbox and I said, "Are you okay? How do you feel? About the fact that your cousin was just charged with murder." And she's like, "Wait, what? I had no idea. I'm out trunk or treating with my children." And I said, "Oh my gosh, we'll, search the information when you get away from your babies or whatever, and I'll talk to you later." So we didn't know in the beginning. We didn't like have any sense that she actually participated in murder. Like, I mean, some of y'all might say, "Oh, I knew right away she did." Well, I didn't. You can't just look at it. You can't just judge a book by its cover. You can't look at nobody and say, "Oh, she looked like the type of person." that will murder a child. No. So I'm thinking, if anything, as Danny said, she's just guilty by association. But I do believe strongly that my friend did have some inside information. And this is the reason why both of them was charged with murder and not just Patrick. Because from my understanding, and we do not have a rape or molestation charge as of yet for Patrick. So that's why I said again, we don't know. But from my understanding, he raped CupCake numerous times, or multiple times is how she put it. And it was Derica that drowned her. They burned her clothes and threw her in the trash. So this was the information that was given to me.
And the thing
So
is,
that's why I
I
said
believe that
it really takes a sick individual, a demonic individual to do not because let's just put it out there. Many people have said to me, well, Malika, I've suffered from mental illness. And you say you suffer from mental illness as
I
well,
do.
Dan. And you said,
I
I
would
would never
never,
do anything like this.
never.
So again, you have somebody who suffered from mental illness as well as drug abuse. And we talk about hard drugs like heroin. You see what I'm saying? So now you can say, wow, I can actually see this person's character and I can actually believe that she did do this or probably did do this.
Yes, John Q. He had possession of child pornography on his phone, and that's what the reason why he was arrested. The for the first time, for as being they were only people of interest at that time. But when they got to the point they said they found the baby in the landfill and the clothes was burnt, I said, "Yep, it got to be true." Because this new place that they lived in, they was only there for 3 weeks. And the reason they had to move to a new place is because the last place they was in miraculously burnt down. And my one of
So
my
you think they
aunties,
just into starting fires? Do you think they
I
might have
guess,
burnt it?
but what she said, my one of my aunties passed this past month. She didn't go to the funeral, and she said she didn't know that our auntie passed because her phone got burnt in the fire. And I was like, that don't make no sense. Like, why are y'all burning stuff? And then when I found out that the baby's clothes was burned, alongside of putting her in the dumpster, I already knew then. This is why when you told me about the charge, it said she charged capital murder, I was not shocked whatsoever. Because when I say you are guilty by association, you are guilty by association. I don't care if you stood there and watched him do it. I don't care if you knew he had a little girl and didn't do nothing about it. If you drown that baby, bitch, I hope you rot in hell for it. I hope they get the death penalty. And I
What I
don't know
have
if
a
people
hard
are gonna be
time with
heartless.
understanding and fathoming what would make them kidnap this baby from the
This
beginning.
baby, why this baby?
It was two babies. Now I'm
It
not
was
saying
two
that
of
both
them.
God for y'all. I'm not saying that both babies should have been suspect. I mean should have been victims. I'm not saying that. But this is one thing that just stands out to me. What made them first, okay, even want to kidnap a child, okay, decide, look, we need to just just say let's just say they just sitting at home and they just chilling, they want to get high, they might don't have the money to get high, whatever. What made them say, hey,
This
let's
baby.
kidnap a child? And then when they see two children on the court, they say we're not gonna take him, we just gonna kidnap her. And I understand that, he was dealing with child pornography and things like that. So and it's been said that the other child was a little boy, so there could be a reason why they just took the little girl. But what made them decide to kidnap a child anyway? Now I remember asking you this question and you said, Danny, that you believe that they wanted to hold her for ransom. Like, was this the talk? Because I do remember hearing some talk about some ransom.
Yeah. And then somebody posted what allegedly is supposed to be the ransom note, and they wanted $50,000, and they had to send it on Bitcoin because it doesn't get traced. I read the whole thing and it didn't make no sense to me. I don't know. It's too many stories.
It's definitely a lot of stories.
Uh, I don't know. I really doubt that she took any type of medicine for her depression. I'm really the first one to go to therapy for mine. Uh, my mom also now recognizes that our mental illness is genetic. So I also not only did I do therapy for myself, but I also go to therapy. I am been helping my mama as well. Everybody family got these dark secrets. I don't care who you are. It's just as a black community, we need to stop letting shit get swept under the rug. We have to stop. Uh, we have to protect our children, which is obvious. I shouldn't have to say that out loud. Um, but I'm trying to figure out why this baby, why not both of the babies?
Exactly. And somebody else just made a good point too. I'm surprised they took Camille and left the other little boy because the other little boy would have been able to say
Say something.
information.
There's so many things that are just
And if you guys notice, we don't have any information on the other little
no.
boy, like the age of the little boy. Was it even confirmed that it was a boy and not a girl?
I
I
don't
don't
even know,
know.
but
But exactly,
as
Nicole,
far
that was a good. That was definitely good. Because normally when something like that happened, they leave no witnesses behind. Or was he at the age where he couldn't speak? I mean, we really don't have too much
we
information
don't
on
know.
the other little boy.
We are just sitting around here waiting for stuff to be revealed, and
Exactly.
I hope that they put maximum punishment on both of them, not just him but her as well. I don't know if Alabama does death penalty, but they need to be on the death row. Here in Florida, if you're put on death row, you only got 2 years before they execute you. So I hope they do that to them because that would be a waste of tax dollars, in my opinion, or throw them in general population. These are just my opinions.
Now that you mentioned it, it's also been talk. And of course, we're just talking, we're just speculating right now because we're still waiting for more to be revealed. Okay, guys, we don't we're not saying that we have all the answers. I'm looking into this case behind the scenes. I've talked to Danny and I've talked to a couple people behind the scenes um, that know these people or know somebody that know these people. But Danny was the only one or the first one I invited to actually come on and kind of give everybody an insight on who this person is that we all know as Derek Brown. Okay,
I wish they would use her real name. I
Queen,
really
Queen Tessa.
protest. Yeah, I wish they would change it and use her real name because that's not her name. That's not her name. So, because
Somebody
just
actually
imagine
said how many names do she have? She
she only
only
has
has
two. She only went by the two, Quintessa and Derek. And if you look on Patrick's page, you see that in a relationship with Quintessa Jackson. Like you could tell she went back to the Quintessa name after dealing with the kidnapping stuff. So my only thing is that imagine if she ever gets out and she goes back to using Quintessa, guess what? None of that history of her like jail and all of that won't be on that. It's gonna be under Derek.
Oh, it would
So they
definitely
need
follow you. It
they
would
need to
definitely
change her
follow you.
name.
Just because you change your name don't mean you can change your history, your past, and your background. Like that definitely follows you. That's why when she got arrested this time, even though she got arrested under the name of Derek Brown, we still linked her to Quintessa, and the news reports
No,
and everything still
no. The only reason
no.
that the police know about her real name is because somebody in my family called and told them.
Really?
Yes. Someone in my family called and told them, like, hey, you know that Derek is Quintessa. And they're like, what? And then they said they made them confirm the birthday, and they did, and they said, for real? That's why the alias is down because
Wow, get
they
out of
didn't even
here.
know they didn't even know her real name, and they just like they were trying to discredit the person, the family member that called. But when she confirmed the birthday, and she confirmed her whole real name, they finally looked it up and said, "Ooh." So the reason that the alias is down as Quintessa is because someone told them.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
And every time we see a news article, news report, it's still calling her Derek.
Derek.
And you even saying the name that she changed her name to was actually Derek Cuff with an A at the end.
She wanted it to be Derica, but she is special, so she spelled it wrong, which is why it says Derek. But how can a person change their complete identity like that?
Why they, because I know when you actually change your name, you have to get
Hmm.
fingerprinted and everything. So
So whenever she goes to jail and she gets fingerprinted, Derek is the name that comes up, not Quintessa.
you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I don't know how, and she should have probably went to college for it or something. I don't know how, but her name.
That's what I'm saying. Even though she was suffering from mental illness, y'all have to admit she had a
She's
lot of
smart.
sense. She is
She's
smart.
smart.
She had a
She
lot of
looks
sense.
smart.
I mean, to even
Her
be
mama
able
was look smart.
to find these legitimate companies and create and print out fake checks so she could
Mhm.
survive.
She was smart.
She was
Book
definitely
smart.
smart.
Her mama was book smart. Just that product of the environment, and you ain't got no sense, and you ain't trying to have no sense. That affects you in your life.
How do you feel
And I'm
about
not.
her getting out the? Well, she didn't even get out the first time, did she? When they arrested her the first time for kidnapping her children,
No, this
she
what
didn't get.
happened. This is what happened. So, her mom and her cousin, her mom and her auntie went to that hearing, and they said, okay, we're not going to let you bond out in 30 days. We're going to extend it to 60, and then at 60, that's when you can bond out. And the next day is when they found the baby, and it's like, oh, never mind, you can't go nowhere. But they were going to let her bond out in 60 days.
Mm. Even though
So,
it was
as I
said
said
that she
before,
her family
there's
was at gunpoint.
yeah, but the thing is, as I said before, there's so many people you can blame. If you watch my live, I said there are so many people you can blame. Birmingham, the police department, the justice system, the judge, all of them. Everybody needs to take accountable because in the first place, why would you give somebody a bond that has child pornography in his being? That tells you that he should not be around children. Why would you give someone a bond who kidnapped her own children? Obviously, she is a danger around children. And yet, y'all still gave these bonds out because y'all needed the money. Y'all want money.
And on top of that, they said she smacked up a police car or something like that with the children in
She
the car.
she hit somebody else. She hit another person because they came to the hotel where she had the kids. I don't know how you get from the hotel room to the car really quickly with three babies, but she drove off, got all the way to Bessemer, and she crashed into somebody. That's when they got her out. When she ran into somebody. And Hood Robin, her mom has been on crack since we was little. Her grandmama also is on crack
Mm.
as
And
we speak.
somebody, this was also mentioned, because like I said, we want to kind of like really stick with the suspects today because this is what we're looking in. We're looking into the suspects. They were just, for anybody that don't know, they were just charged yesterday with the murder of CupCake. So we're really digging deep and trying to look into even the backgrounds of the suspects.
Mhm.
But somebody brought up a point in one of the groups that I was in, and I just want to ask your opinion because I know, of course, you don't know. But I do want to ask you this too. I almost forgot. Are you going to reach out to her? Are you going to try to visit her? Or,
Hell no.
huh?
Sorry, but no, I'm not.
Okay. But somebody also brought up a good point in the group. They said that, and which we don't know, but I just want to hear your thoughts on it, that she might actually use her mental illness to take a plea.
Uh, I said that she probably was going to talk and say something, and if I really think she gonna sting like a bird because there ain't no way that she could serve that a whole life sentence in prison. But if she doesn't say anything, then I mean, because I feel deep in my heart that right now my cousin feel like F it, I don't care what happens to me at this point. I don't think that she would go for the plea. Maybe her attorney would convince her to go for it, but as for her personally, I don't think she would use that scapegoat.
So you believe that she would roll over on Patrick?
You think that Patrick told her to do it?
No, you saying that you think that she would actually roll over and
Oh
accept the plea deal.
yes. Oh yeah. Especially if her auntie or her even if her mama, if anybody in my family gets to talk to her, they finna tell her to sing like a bird. You better tell everything you know.
Mm,
And she might be in love with the dude, but when it comes to finding love for herself, she not finna jeopardize that for nobody. Now, if
mm.
she does not say anything, it's because she has given up completely, and she does not care what happens to her for the rest of her life. Why? Because she don't have what all she wanted
What
was.
you guys feel about that, Chad? What you guys feel about if she was to accept a plea deal for a lighter sentence and put everything off on Patrick? What do you guys feel about that? And if we find out if the rumors was actually true that she was the one who actually drowned the baby, how would you guys feel about that? Because I don't know how I actually feel about that. I kind of feel like both of them need to serve life. And I'm not gonna say death, the death penalty, because it's not I'm not the judge. I'm not sitting on the throne. It's not for me to say who should live and who should die. But I definitely believe that, and this is just my opinion, that both of them should spend the rest of their lives in
Yeah,
prison.
both of they behind need to be fried. I don't think life is not a life. Life is a privilege, in my opinion.
It's a gift. That's why they call it the present.
You get to live the rest of your life out after you have killed a baby. What? No. And if they give them life, everybody better protest because the state need to seek death because that is what you deserve. Because at the end of the day, this was a 3-year-old child who could not save herself, who could not scream, who could not do anything to save herself. So why should we give you life? That's
I
what
think it
I
would be
feel
kind
about
of
it.
messed up if she, like John Q said, it would only make sense for her, for her attorney to advise her
Yeah, that
to
would
take
be
the plea
smart.
deal exactly and put everything off on Patrick. But I just don't think it would be fair, especially if what we heard is true that she actually was the one to drown her. I just don't think it'd be fair. It's like, no, you need to serve life, or like you said, electric chair, whatever. You need to be penalized as well.
Mhm.
But
There's no
they
way
would
she ain't
definitely have something to back it up with this mental illness thing because she have a record, a history of suffering from mental illness.
she don't deserve no
So
lesser sentence. He don't like we already know that he done for it. But
now
her, she
again,
don't
guys,
deserve
I don't know if this is the plan. Okay, we have little information right now. We just have an adult conversation, but this was something that was brought up in one of the groups, and I thought, like, wow, this is that's interesting. What if that is the case? I don't know how I would personally feel about that. Because I just feel like if what we heard about what actually took place is true, then it wouldn't be a good feeling for me for her to put everything off on him and for her to get a lighter sentence. Like I'm not too thrilled about that if that was to be the case, but we don't know. So have you spoken to any of your family about this? Her mom,
everybody mad at me.
how is the family holding up? What is the family saying?
You talking about my side?
I mean, anybody on your side have told you about what her mom is saying, what the family is saying, and how they taking this and
The only
their thoughts
people
on
that
this?
the only people that we talk to are my cousin, one cousin, and my my granny, of course, and my auntie, which is my granny's twin sister. Uh, everybody really us the few of us are really pissed off, and we all feel that she should get what she deserves. My mama cried for the baby, like seeing my mama break down and cry for that baby is
So
just
it's not one person. Well, I know you don't talk to the whole family, but that
the ones
you
I
know
don't talk
of
to
that's saying they don't
probably.
believe she did this. I believe she
Yeah,
innocent.
they're the ones that don't believe it, and that's what, as you can see, I don't talk to them
Okay,
because
so
I
you do have some family that's sticking by her and that don't believe that she was
yeah,
involved.
probably her mom and her auntie. Um, Not her other auntie, my cousin. We call her my twin, but her that one at first she said there ain't no. She said I don't think I feel in my heart that there ain't no way Quintessa would do something that heinous. That's what she said. But then when she found out where they found the baby and the burnt clothes is really what gave it away for us, she was pissed. And she don't want nothing to do with her ever again. So she might have two people out of our entire family that believe that she had no involvement. No, I'll take it back. Maybe three. And those are the three that I don't talk to.
And those are the three that's the closest to her.
Yeah, the my cousins that got onto the status to say that I was wrong, they're the ones that my cousin actually they live in Georgia. They're the ones that my cousin actually would go up there and visit. And I told them, I said, just because you had a good experience with her doesn't mean that I did. And I'm not obligated just because she's my blood to think that she is innocent when I know her mentality.
Exactly. And that's the
So
thing.
that's how my post got viral because of my two cousins.
Mm. And that's the
And
thing, knowing her mentality. Because I have cousins who I don't speak to on a day to day basis. I haven't talked to them maybe in a couple of years.
yeah,
We don't live in the same state anymore. But if you tell me my cousin did something that I know that's really out of her character, then I can say no, that don't sound like my cousin. Like for
yeah,
instance, I
but
have a
how?
cousin that smoke big weed, but she take care of her home, she take care of her kids, she go to work every day. When she come home from work, she light her blunt, she smoke all during the evening. She might cook her dinner while she's smoking a blunt. Now, if you was to say my cousin stole somebody weed, I might say, oh, she probably did that.
Yeah.
She probably
Of course,
did
that
that
would be
because I know my
natural
cousin loves
to,
her weed. She smokes her weed. But if
yeah,
you were to say my cousin molested a child, or my cousin molested her kids, or my cousin murdered a child, I'd be like, no, that's not my cousin. I know my cousin's character, and that is not my cousin.
I know my cousin's character, but I also am someone that deals with mental illness, and I have had to do research myself to figure out what is it in my family that is causing this genetic mental just pass it on, pass it on, pass it on. How can I stop it? So at this point now, yes, it's my cousin. I know her character. I know how well she took care of her kids. But I also know that my cousin is in a different state of mind now because she no longer has the thing that she loved. She no longer has her children. All six of them are gone forever. So now I know that now a different mentality has been turned on because what what she wanted there, what she wanted in her life is gone. The only other person she wanted was her great grandma, and she died back in 2011. And she didn't know that her great grandma died, so she went to the house, and the neighbor had to tell her. So at this point, I know if I can't have what I want, then nobody else can have what they want, and that's just me understanding someone who may have the same mental issues, not as severe as me, but pretty bad. Because if you try to take my kids away from me, I go into defense mode quickly. But I also have had to learn how to stop. Then you have to think. Then like it's not really what it is, and y'all dealing with Derek now. That's how I look at it. That's not Quintessa. That's Derek.
That's sad. That's sad.
And
And yes, it's
they was
definitely
like, I know a lot of people ask me, well, why didn't you help her? Would you help somebody that took everything from you, like down to the spoons? Like you could have left me a spoon, something, some tissue. When I say from the top floor to the bottom floor, everything.
well,
Would
what
you
I
let that
what
person
I
around
basically
you
said
again?
too is I just wish that somebody could have saw been there while she was in her relationship with Patrick and maybe
Yeah,
saw some signs and could have helped
that's
her. But you know, when you know this is a little bit normal, too normal for me. I've seen this one too many times. When people get in a relationship with toxic people, they normally would separate themselves from those that love them. Or when they headed down a wrong direction, they would separate
not my
themselves from
family.
people that can actually help them.
Not my family. My people can be with toxic people, and Other family members can have a problem with it, but they're not going to say nothing. Why? Because Black people have this mentality of it's none of my business. It's none
Mm,
of my business. That ain't none of my business. What she doing over there, that ain't none of my business. You can how often do we hear that? That's none of my business.
she grown.
When you know for a fact she was a sick person, you know for a fact that felons are not supposed to be together. That is law. But it's none of my business. Because guess what? If she never stole from me and we still tried to build our relationship, I would have made sure that she would have stayed focused, just like we both stay on the same goal. And our goal is to take care of these children and not allow them to become like the rest of our family. But when you mess up and you burn bridges, that's just stuff you got to deal with. So now she no longer has anybody, and she probably don't care about her life right now, and that's just the honesty of it. But I have to go get the triplets from school pretty soon, and probably just take them to the
Yes,
movies.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, I only wanted to do an hour. But I know you have to go. Is there any final words that you want to say? And if Derica was actually watching right now, what would you say to her?
If I tell me if she was watching me right now,
Yeah, she can actually watch you. What would you say to her?
I'm not gonna lie. I would probably first I wouldn't say words. I had to beat her up first, and then after that I talked to her. You know, some people like that. I would literally beat her behind.
Oh, it's been said that she done already got a good whooping. In case don't nobody know, it's been said
No,
they got some pictures of her mug shots, and she have bumps and
no,
bruises.
she
She's
need to.
been
She
locked
need
up.
to
When she
feel.
first got carried in, she
But
got a
those,
whooping on
but
her.
those are people that don't know her. She need a whooping from somebody that is related to her. She need to get her butt beat. And after that, I would already know what she would say to me because it really was about her baby. She was all about her kids. And at that point, like what she would literally tell me, there ain't no point in her living. So I would listen to her. I would you can't give somebody advice that's already put themselves in a heinous position, but I know what she would say to me.
Okay, somebody just want to know, and I'm gonna ask you this question before you go real quick. Are you familiar with the Malia Davis case? And if so, did you see any comparisons? And I
Malia.
definitely did. I know that
I don't think I'm familiar with Malia. Was it in Alabama as well, or
No, that case happened in Houston, Texas, and I can actually bring you some information on that case, and we can discuss that later because I actually looked into Malia Davis' case as well as CupCake's case, and I definitely see some comparisons. I look into everything from the natural, and I also go deep into the spiritual realm because I know we're in a spiritual warfare, and I know that's what we're fighting right now. Okay, so I look at things spiritually too. So I have seen a lot of coding. I have seen. That's why I think this thing is deeper. And let me just ask you this: do you think this thing is deeper than what we're actually, the information that we actually getting? Do you think this thing goes a lot deeper?
I think that we need to know where the mama was. We need to know who was responsible for CupCake, and I feel like some child negligence should be in effect as well.
Okay, but spiritually, do you think this thing was deeper? Like, a lot of us feel like she was sacrificed. Do you believe that it could have been a
No,
possibility she was
I
sacrificed?
don't feel
Anything
like
like
it was a sacrifice. She was raised in a Church of God. So she, as far me, I am just now starting to deep into spirituality. My spiritual side, and also as far as ancestors, I feel like, of course, I saw somebody say something about slavery, but I feel like it's a mentality that's been beaten to us, and because our ancestors were beat into that form of submission, don't talk back, don't do other than what you are told. I feel like it trickles down, and I feel like that right now, this is the generation that needs to stop it. We're the ones that got to say something like, we are important, we are people, our mental illnesses are just as important as the white kids that do mass murder. Same. We can't use that excuse.
And we
If
also do
literally,
have to see your gap that you hadn't spoke to her. or a year and a half.
Which
So we
you
really
haven't
don't
talked to
know if she joined any occults or anything like that, if she started denying Christ and joined some occults or got into something real deep and real spiritual.
her.
But I
She
do
did.
believe that the case will kind of reveal itself.
Yeah,
Like I always tell people, people may lie, but numbers don't lie. And those that know me, I look deeper, a lot deeper into it, and I am going to do a presentation on the things that I found and that stood out to me spiritually. Um,
I
as
don't think
far as
she
the
like
case,
tapped into
and I
any type of.
hopefully I can compare it to Malia Davis' case because that's something that I'm actually working on as well behind the scenes. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you get out of here.
All right.
You guys, we just wanted to do. I wanted to do an Ask Malika. I'm gonna try to do it on Fridays, and we're gonna reschedule. I actually had planned for me and John to go live this Friday, but I've decided to go ahead and reschedule that and get Danny on while she was available, so we can just hear from her while I was working on this case right here and looking into this case. I just felt like it was good to kind of hear what Danny has to say and kind of zone in on the suspects for a minute. Her cousin being the main one. So
Sure.
that's what we did. So the lab that I have coming with John Q will be next Friday. Next Friday, John Q and I will go live and we will present our findings with this case and with other cases that we've looked into in the past. Okay, so y'all set y'all reminder for next Friday, same time, to hear from me and John Q. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Yes, Miss Anointed, demons are real. And me myself personally, I think that a lot of what we're seeing, it could go deeper, or it could just be what it is.
Yeah.
But like I said, it takes
We'll
the
find out.
spirit, and it takes the ability to get this revelation to be able to present what we find. Okay. Right now, we don't have all the answers. Of course, Danny did not come to say, "Look, I have all the answers. I know everything." No, Danny just came to give us the insight of who this woman is, and her background.
Hello.
And I think she did a
Hey, bro.
darn good job with that. Okay,
Your
so
charger?
take it as you will.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, so take it as you will. But anyway, Danny, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to let you go so you can go ahead and get your baby. That's first and
Okay.
foremost.
Yeah,
We
I
about
gotta
our
get
kids over here, taking care of
a
our
bunch of kids
children. So
today. But
thank
thank
you for
y'all.
coming on. Thank you for talking with us. And it was definitely good hearing from you. And I just appreciate you for coming on and speaking with us.
Yeah, I got a lot. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people was asking me to talk, but I'm like, no. But I want you were able to understand me and understand where I was coming from, and it was for the baby. It wasn't for grown people that should know better. So I appreciate talking with you guys, and thank you for not criticizing me.
Most well, you have a friend in me, and I told you how my platform is. I said everybody
Yeah,
on here is loving, we welcome it. For the most part, everybody is men, women of God, and we like to hear people out before we just judge.
made that decision. Yeah,
We not
it's
like that.
refreshing compared to what I've been experiencing. So luckily,
No,
I
we're
just
not
have
like
tough
that.
skin, and that's it. I
God
just
bless you, and we are praying for your family. Everybody, throw some praying hands up and you guys please let Danny know that you are praying for her and that you praying for the family. Also, CupCake, we gonna lift her up. She's with the Lord now. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. We gonna lift her family up. We are not here to bash anybody. We have questions just like anybody else, and we trying to get to the bottom of this case just like
yeah,
everybody else.
everybody else.
So,
Yeah,
yes, please, nobody get offended by what we put out and what we discussed openly today. It was really just to kind of zone in on the suspects and get an idea of who this person is that we all call Derek Irisha Brown. Okay? All right, guys. I love you guys. And Danny, as I said, we definitely going to keep you and the family in prayer, honey. And if you need
thank
me,
you.
you know how to reach me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, honey. You guys have a blessed day, you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, everybody. I'm just thankful to have her on, and I just want to say too before I go, I thank you guys for not judging. I thank you guys for not bashing her. She was not here to speak on behalf of her cousin. She was not here to um, exonerate her cousin. She cannot do that. That is not her job to do. All she wanted to do is give us the insight. Like I said, me and her had deep conversations behind the scenes. And especially when it comes to mental illness. Mental illness is a real thing, okay, especially in the Black community, and we do not face this. We ignore it. Okay. And so I just feel that this was important to bring awareness also to mental illness. If you guys have a family member that you know or believe to be suffering from mental illness, to be suffering from drug addiction, please do not leave them out there in the cold. Do not turn your back on them. Intercede. Intercede the best way you can. Okay. I remember back in the days, the family used to come together and be like, hey, we getting ready to intervene on you, do an intervention. And if we got to throw you in a rehab, that's what we're going to do. Because this is what we need to do. We need to lift our people up and make sure things like this don't happen. If we can avoid stuff like this from happening, then let's try to do it. Okay, so I really wanted to bring awareness to mental illness, especially in the Black community, because like she said, when it comes to people like this, we just ignore. We be like, hey, that's her business. She grown. What she do over there ain't got nothing to do with me. And that helps no one. Because now look, her cousin is maybe facing life in prison. Her cousin could possibly be facing death in prison. And I trust me, I understand when a person, especially a person who's on drugs, they can burn bridges, okay, within the whole family. Trust me, I understand that. If you can't do anything else but intercede in prayer, do that. Instead of judging that person, putting that person out, talking about that person, get on your knees and start praying for that person. Say, Father, I'm interceding on this person on their behalf because right now they sick and they can't do it themselves. Because if we can avoid this from happening, let's try to do that. Enough with what happens in a family stays in a family. No, go talk to your local pastor. Go talk to a counselor. Go do something. Enough with the family secret. We're gonna keep this, we're gonna sweep it under the rug, and we're gonna smile when we at church, and we're gonna smile when we're around our neighbors and act like our home is just perfect, everything is just perfect. No. And another thing I wanted to bring up too, that somebody had mentioned, because this is the way I grew up. And I know things is totally different from how I grew up. We as a community have to look out for each other. I feel there is no way this person should have brought CupCake back home without knocking on the door and making sure an adult was there and handing her to an adult and saying, hey, your baby was down at our party. I don't know if you know it or not. She was pulling down her pants. I don't mind her coming. I noticed she wasn't supervised. I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you that she can be out here. Now, trust me, I grew up in the project. I know the project. I know the hood. I grew up in the projects in the hood in Detroit, Michigan. Okay? So trust me, I know. But one thing about the projects and the hood, they are a community. They are one. When one have a party, an outdoor party, everybody show up. Kids from down the block, everybody show up. It's normally open to the whole hood. When you have something like that in the hood, in the projects, everybody can come. It's okay. But when you notice a small child, it's unattended. And it's very noticeable because this child is acting up or doing certain things that they shouldn't be doing. That's a clear sign for you to say, hey, let me talk to this. Let me go down and meet this child's mom, talk to this child, make sure it's okay for this child to be here for one. Okay, make sure it's okay for her to be here. And for two, make her parent aware of what she's doing. Maybe she has to use the bathroom. Maybe that's the reason why she keeps pulling her pants down. So I definitely feel like somebody should have made sure that she was put in the hands and handed to an adult. And they said, oh, she turned around and came back out 5 minutes later. Okay, well, if you didn't talk to an adult when she came back out 5 minutes later, at that point you should have said, well, come on now, baby, you just coming outside by yourself. Let me make sure I speak to your mom and make sure it's okay for you to be, or cousin, and make sure it's okay for you to be here. Now, I'm not putting the blame on nobody. Not right now. Okay, maybe I will later on. I might blame everybody. Y'all know me, and I don't care what nobody say. I might blame everybody from the top to the bottom. Okay, I just might. But right now, this case is still fresh. we still looking into a lot of stuff. A lot of information have not been exposed. And on top of that, we have a lot of different rumors circulating, a lot of different speculation. And you just don't know what to believe. And it sounds familiar for a lot of people that's been following me and has been looking into all these different cases. We've been here before. Well, we heard all these different rumors, all these different theories, all these different speculations. Me, myself, personally, I drove myself crazy looking into Kanika case because there was so many different rumors, so many different speculations, so much talk around it, so many different theories. And sometimes you have to just shut everything, everybody out, focus in on the fact, speak to the Lord, meditate on the information, and it might become so clear to you. So this live was not about us finding the answers in this one live. No, it's still yet to be brought out. This live was not about bashing a parent. No, I have an opinion just like everybody else. I have questions just like everybody else. Danny has an opinion just like everybody else. Danny has questions just like everybody else. This live was not about Danny bashing her cousin or exonerating her cousin. This live was simply about us zoning in on a suspect that was charged last night, getting an understanding of who this person is that we all know as Derek, and her name is actually Derica. Real name is Quintessa. Okay, and everybody don't have Facebook who's on YouTube. So a lot of people didn't know Danny, don't know the story that she shared. A lot of people know Derica as Derek and not Quintessa. They don't know why she changed her name. So this is to bring some information and some clarity to the woman that was arrested or charged and arrested for the murder of CupCake. And for us to bring awareness to mental illness and how we can prevent this stuff from happening again. We need to talk more about this. We need to talk more about mental illness. We need to talk to our family. We need to intercede whenever we can and stop sweeping this stuff under the rug. That's just my thoughts on everything. No, she's not no kin to CupCake. She's first cousins to the woman that was charged for the murder of CupCake. She's not kin to CupCake, and neither is Derek. From my understanding, Patrick is not kin to CupCake. Now, I do have some information that was given to me, and that I'm not gonna spill today. I'm not going to spill right now because, like I said, there's been a lot of talk around this case, and I don't know what's really factual or not. What I did spill to you guys and let you guys know, for those that didn't know, I let you guys know what a personal friend who I trust in and I believe in, what she said to me as far as what took place, as far as Patrick raping her multiple times and Derica drowned her, burned her clothes, and threw her in the trash. And for what Danny said is when I brought her that information, Danny said the first thing that stood out to her was the burn the clothes. She said because she's a fire starter. Derica, her cousin, is a fire starter. That's what she does. She like playing with fire. And she's burned her house down before. So she said that for her, that was kind of like a flash, like, wow. If I didn't really believe any other theory, this one right here might be true because I know that that's my cousin history. She has started some fires before. She's burned some stuff down before. Okay, so that was really all that I really wanted to spill on you guys because I didn't want to continue to talk about this person as if she was just the accessory to murder, as if she was just there, or as if she was just the getaway car driver. I wanted to let you guys know what the talk was around Birmingham, the fact that she was actually involved in the murder, and that explains why she was charged with murder as well as Patrick. So that's the reason why I kind of opened up to you guys with that. But I did get a lot more information, regarding this case, but I just don't know right now what's factual and what's not. I'm still looking into everything. But I do intend on doing a presentation. Now, when it's going to be done, I don't know, because right now it's still an open case. It's still so much coming out every day about this case. Okay, but I did get some deep information, and I just don't know, if it's true or not. But from what we know, what we do know, no, there is no relationship or relations between the parent, and the suspect from what they told us. Whatever else is concealed, I believe will be revealed. And if I can prove anything, y'all already know I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to expose every demon and devil that was involved. Because I don't care. That's just what I'm going to do. You know, I feel like if you can take a baby's life, then you can take getting a little vocal beating from Malika. So, yeah, Ivy, that's her cousin. We definitely got work to do. You already know it, Mr. Miles. You already know it. We already know it. Y'all already know it. Lanice, Miss Anointed, y'all already know it. We got work to do. And what we gonna do is we gonna separate the truth from the lies, from the theories, from everything else. And we definitely gonna get down to work. And I've been working since day one. That's how I ended up coming in contact with Danny. I ended up, seeing her post. I ended up reaching out to her. We ended up having a conversation. I got to asking 100 questions about this person. What do you know about this person? Who is this person? And she was not, let me just put it out there too. She was not the only person I reached out to. But me and her kind of formed a bond. And I understood, like she said, I understood her. I understood where she was coming from. And because we formed that bond, I said, hey, I'm doing Ask Malika on Friday. I want to be able to at least, do this either once a week, once every other week, where I'm touching bases with my subs on the cases that I'm working on. How about you join me? And I had to reschedule the lab that I had with John today because once she said, first she was kind of like, antsy about doing it. Like, I really don't know. I want to do it, but at the same time, I don't know because, she already going through some stuff with her family. Okay, because she's speaking out, and of course, like we said, family members don't acknowledge her. We not related to her. You a fool for even acknowledging her. So she had to deal with some stuff to even decide whether or not she would do this live. So once she said to me, okay, all right, I'll do it. I said, okay, well, John, I said, John, I'll go ahead and reschedule our live to next week. I'm going to go ahead and get her on. We're going to go ahead and do this live, and we're going to just discuss and try to just focus in on the suspect. It's not too much that she can really share about Patrick. Because during that time, what we have to understand is when Quintessa met Patrick, Quintessa separated herself. She had already burned a lot of bridges, okay, within the family, and she also separated herself from those that she loved. She began to use heroin, a hard drug. This was something that was new to her. She wasn't like her cousin just said, I've never known my cousin to be on drugs before. She's never done drugs. She smoked cigarettes, yes, but never done drugs before. So she got into another toxic relationship because she did speak to me about the first one with the kid's father was toxic as well. But she rocked it out with him. She got some type of undeniable loyalty to the guys that she with, y'all. She's naive, like the cousin said. Okay, so when she got with Patrick Brown, she pretty much distanced herself from people that she loved, and she fell off. She fell down, went down a downward spiral, whatever you call it. Okay, so she began to fall off. Okay, so yeah, in the beginning, Jack met Jill. They was getting money together. They had a nice house. She decorated her house. She took care of the kids, a couple kids that she had. She was trying to fight to get the other kids back. That didn't work out. She said, I'm going to go try to kidnap them. But I want my children. Because to me, because we have an idea of what a perfect life is like. I'm getting money. I got my dude. He getting money. I finally got a house where I don't have to squat in abandoned houses. Are y'all hearing me? I'm about to try to go get all my children, all my kids. Even if that means holding somebody at gunpoint, forcing them to release my babies. I'm about to go get all my kids. So that was her next move. When that didn't work out, like the cousin said, okay, yeah, that could have contributed to going into a deep depression. The deep depression could have been a cause for her using drugs. But that's just something that we pretty much can only assume because we really don't know. She started using hard drugs. She's involved with this man. So now she's zoned out. And she got the loyalty to him. She's zoned out. It could be a man manipulation type of thing on both ends. It could be her manipulating him or him manipulating her. Either way it goes, both of them was zoned out. Both of them probably dealing with mental illness. Both of them is not happy with their life. Both of them don't love themselves or each other. Forget what they thought. Both of them didn't care about life. Like she said, I don't have my own kids. Why do I care about somebody else's? So here it is. You have just two messed up individuals. And now I'm like, oh, okay. I see what, you know what I'm saying? Like before I just couldn't fathom it, but now I see. You got two demonic, messed up individuals who don't care about life, who don't care about themselves. Okay, because the pictures that I was seeing before, which maybe I could screen share some things with y'all now. Let me see if I can. I could probably screen share some stuff with y'all now that she's not on because for some reason I couldn't figure out how to do it. Was on. And you guys might have seen these pictures before, but and I don't have them all because I do have some screenshots of how she was living prior to her meeting him, and also how she was living at the relationship, you know, when it was all good. And they was, you know, what everybody say, living their best life. Okay, so if I pull up some pictures, I might exit myself out of here and can't get myself back. So maybe I'll say that for another laugh. I'll probably say that for my presentation or for another laugh. But, you know, I did look into some stuff where he was working. He was bringing home the money. She was working. They had a nice house. The children that she did have in her custody, they was clean. She was printing out fake checks, you know, maybe paying the bills with them, making sure her bills and stuff was paid. So they was actually, for them, they was living a life. They was living that life. Okay, but it wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. So my whole thing was when everybody was talking about this ransom, I was wondering, okay, well, did they actually kidnap her expecting to get some money from her? But like I told Danny during the discussion, because this was her original thought as well, that, you know, that they actually kidnapped her, you know, to perform a ransom. But my whole thing is, who would kidnap a child from the hood, from the project, and assume that somebody got $50,000 or some money to pay to get their child back? Ain't nobody in the hood got no $50,000. I'm just saying. Now, I know it's some trap houses in the hood. Don't get me wrong. I do have some street smart. I do understand that. But I'm saying the average person in the project ain't just got $50,000 laying around to pay you a ransom. You see what I'm saying? So I just said it just didn't, that right there just didn't make sense to me. Unless it's a little bit more to the story. Unless it's a little bit more to the story that we just not considering, because we already have two scapegoats. I mean, sorry, not scapegoats. We already have two suspects. Who's feeling me? Drop a one. She didn't have her kids. What she did, yeah. What did she have to lose? She didn't have her own kids. What did she have to lose? Not much. Not much. And at that point, she was drugged out too. She was zoned out. I thought she was actually gonna say she was probably snorting a little cocaine and she was smoking some weed or something. I don't know. I probably even thought she was gonna say crack. When she said heroin, I said, oh Lord Jesus. I thought she was going to say she was drinking a little lean here and there. I mean, I'm just saying, to me, like she went, and I wanted to ask her, but I didn't want to get that deep personal with it. Like, dang, was she shooting it in the veins, or what was she doing? Ain't that the only way you could do it, shooting in your veins? Like, wow. Me myself personally, I just don't know young people, you know, in their 20s who do heroin. Like, you know, that's uncommon from where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? But things are different now. a whole different generation. So for me, that was kind of like a whoa. So I just wanted you guys to be able to understand what we were dealing with, because everybody just saying you a monster and I want you to burn in hell, yada, yada, yada. I just want you guys to understand what we were dealing with these people, who these people were. There's no excuse for murdering a child. I get that. Trust me, I do. But you can't look a demon in his face and say it ain't no excuse for why you doing what you doing. You are a demon. You here to you gonna cause hell on earth. That's what demons do. They wreak havoc. They cause hell on earth. They represent darkness. So looking into everything, I'm like, now I see what we was dealing with. Thank you, Mr. Anointed. That's what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm trying to say, especially when you're doing those type of drugs. Your mind becomes Satan's playground. He could play on you. Somebody showed me a video in the group the other day. I don't know if you guys seen this video, and it really just like tore my heart out my chest. But a guy was on live just the other day. I don't know if it was just the other day, but the video was shown to me just yesterday. But a guy was on live. He was literally talking to some demons, okay, in this tongues or strange language, but I realized he was speaking to demons, and he literally blew his head off with a shotgun, all while he was on live. The demons convinced him to kill himself on live. The demons convinced Judas to hang himself. Do y'all get what I'm saying? So you think the demons can't convince a man to snatch a baby and rape her? Do you believe that the demons can't convince a woman to drown a baby? Do you guys get what I'm saying? It's an attack on God's children. Who are closer to God but his little babies? So I just want you guys to kind of take in and get the big picture and to really understand what type of world we living in. And this is the reason why he say be in the world but not be of the world, because this is what we're dealing with. This is what the world is. It's Satan's, the world itself is Satan's playground. The man can be Satan's playground. So just understand that. I think the story has more to it too, Stephanie. That's why I refuse to just walk away with, and I'm never going to walk away from a story with just the narrative that they painted for us. I'll never do it. I would never do it because I don't believe the Zionist news, Judas news media. I don't believe everything that they put out. That's just not me. I know the world is under a big grand delusion right now, and a lot of people are sick to believe a lie. That's just not me. I have spiritual senses that I use, okay? That I use. I'm a very spiritual individual. So for me, I'm just not going to walk away with this and say, hey, well, I'm just going to sit back and just wait for everything, wait for the news to report whatever they want to report. Because a lot of times stuff they're reporting is a lie. They telling us this girl name is Derek. They didn't even look into her real identity. It took the family to say, wait a minute, this is Quintessa. We've seen this before. I've covered stories with y'all before, and I've showed you guys. We've seen surveillances before. Well, we've seen edited surveillances, edited footages. We've seen this stuff before. We've actually seen a whole surveillance where we've seen somebody walking and it wasn't even that person. It was somebody else. Remember the postal worker? It wasn't even her. Come on, y'all. How could you dare just run with whatever they put out there? How could you dare do that? And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch some of my own lives. We had a whole surveillance video where we seen a postal worker, we seen somebody walking, and come to find out that wasn't even a victim. It was somebody else, but the news put it out there to make us believe it was her. So y'all should know me by now. I don't just go with whatever they say. I don't just believe in whatever they say. I got smart people on my team, John Q, X.Y. Mouse. I got people that's invested, all in the name. And we'll look deep into some stuff behind the scenes, okay? We don't. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I got to get ready to get up out of here too. Be looking forward to me and John's live next week, next Friday, same time, with Ask Malika with a special guest, special guest, John Q. We're gonna do a coming back together exclusive live, our first time coming back together in a long time, and we've been talking behind the scenes nonstop, been talking behind the scenes, but I just can't wait to be able to do a one-on-one conversation, or not one-on-one because of course you guys are included, but to be able to actually come together back on the platform with John, because we work separate now, but at the same time we work behind the scenes together and people just don't know that. And so I just can't wait to be able to come together with him and do a live with him. And it's just going to be awesome. So be looking forward to that next Friday, same time. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get up out of here. I love you guys. Y'all, please stay prayed up. Please consider the things that were said today in this live. Okay, especially the topic that we hit on mental illness. Please consider that. Also, pay attention to your children. I don't care who they are, mama, auntie, sister, cousin. A lot of time, molestation goes on right in the household. It starts first in the household. Abuse, verbal, mental, physical, starts first in the household. Pay attention to your children. All right. I love you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, John. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Yes, a whole week, Miss Anointed, but we got to get it together though. All right, y'all. I'm out.